Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be looking at a small cap Canadian operator in the online gaming and sports betting industry. Now we've talked about a company related to this one in the past on the channel. The company we mentioned before was Victory Square Technologies. The company we're going to be talking about today is called FansUnite Entertainment. Now I'm super excited to talk about this one for a number of reasons. There's been a lot of M&A activity in the gaming industry in Canada recently. We just saw a big announcement from Score being acquired by Penn Gaming, and I think this is really just the start of a lot of consolidation in this space. Now on the FansUnite side of things, they've got a great business model. They've got a B2B and a B2C or business to consumer division, and I think they've got a lot going for them. So before we get into it, you guys, please take a second to smash the like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel itself, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding FansUnite, if you've heard of this company before, and what you think of their growth prospects moving forward. Now let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today we're going to be talking about FansUnite Entertainment Incorporated. Now this one's exciting to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, we've talked about their parent company, Victory Square Technology, on the channel previously. Now since then, they've spun FansUnite out to its own entity here, so we're going to talk about that. There's been a number of recent developments in the Canadian gaming landscape, specifically Bill C-218, that allows single event sports betting. So that's a big catalyst for all companies involved in gaming like FansUnite. And in addition to that, we've seen some other big catalysts in this space. So just recently, Score was actually acquired by Penn Gaming. So that was a big shakeup in the industry here. There's a number of other catalysts coming for FansUnite, and they really feel like they're at an inflection point here, both as a company and as an industry. So we're going to talk through this in a little bit more detail in this video. We'll talk about some of the recent news developments here in Canada and with the organization itself. We'll look at their business model in a little bit more detail, and then we'll talk about some of those catalysts moving forward. Now I'm recording this video Monday night after the markets closed, so you can see at the time of close, FansUnite was trading at 79 cents. They were down 1 cent or 1.25% per share on Monday's session. Now FansUnite has been trading as its own separate entity for quite some time, even as part of Victory Square Technologies. And you can see back in October of last year, this company was actually trading in the 20-cent range. So if you consider it close to 80 cents now, it's about a 4x if you've been holding on to this company for the last year. Now that being said, they did have a huge upward push in the middle of February here. So February 15th, 2021, they hit a high of $2.20 per share. So absolutely phenomenal share price appreciation. They have pulled back considerably from that point. So if you've been watching FansUnite or Victory Square Technologies for some amount of time, this may be a good buying opportunity, or at least a good chance to take a second look at FansUnite. Now in terms of market cap here, you guys, Yahoo has them listed at $144 million Canadian. However, as we'll see later in the investor presentation, on a fully diluted basis, they've got about 253 million shares. So at an average share price of 79 cents, you're looking at a market cap closer to about $199, $200 million Canadian. Now they trade under the ticker symbol FANS. I love the ticker symbol on this one. They trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange, and they also trade on the OTC in the US under the ticker symbol FUNFF. So in terms of what FansUnite really does, you guys, they're involved in the gambling, esports, and online casino gaming type of industry. So FansUnite is a sports and entertainment company focusing on technology related to regulated and lawful online sports betting, esports betting, casino, and fantasy sports betting. Our mission is to be the leader in the gaming industry by providing our partners and players with the industry's most versatile and vertically integrated platforms with a portfolio of unique products with that focus on esports, sports betting, casino, and the next generation of bettors. So they're really focused on developing games and platforms that reach out to millennials and younger gamers or gamblers. And they also offer a suite of B2B solutions and business to consumer products. So we're going to look at their different divisions. It really is quite a conglomerate, you guys, and there's a lot of different angles or aspects to FansUnite, but a very refreshing business model. This is obviously a massive growth industry. We're starting to see a lot of attention and consolidation in this space, as we just saw with the acquisition of Score, and I think this is going to be a really exciting space to be over the next couple of decades. We've talked a lot about esports on the channel. I'm a gamer myself. I think this is a very big opportunity, and eventually I could see esports actually surpassing traditional sports in terms of viewership, advertising dollars, and overall public attention. So great spot to be. And with that said, now let's get into some of the more recent news. So the first piece of news I wanted to talk about was FansUnite relationship with Victory Square. So you can see Victory Square here. We did a video on them a couple of months ago. They've actually pulled back quite considerably over the last couple of months. So if you consider Victory Square was trading up close to $1 back in April, they're now trading at about 45% or half of that valuation. And FansUnite really was a subsidiary of Victory Square up until quite recently here. Now, if we jump over to the Victory Square website, you can see the news release here that came out June 24th, indicating one of the portfolio companies within Victory Square, which is FansUnite Entertainment, is teaming up with Ascot Entertainment, and they're announcing a definitive agreement on June 22nd to combine forces and create one of Canada's leading gaming companies. Now, the CEO of FansUnite does chime in on this. This merger with Ascot will represent our most significant milestone to date and transform us into one of Canada's leading gaming companies. So this is a very high level merger here, you guys, and again speaks to a lot of the consolidation that we're starting to see in the gaming space. Now, by joining forces, the two companies combined have 4 live business to consumer platforms, which we're going to talk about in more detail. These B2C platforms have had over $350 million Canadian wagered since inception, and have 300,000 registered members across the various platforms. They've signed 4 different business-to-business agreements or contracts. Again, we're going to look at their offerings there. 2 of these are up and running or currently live. They've completed 2 RNG casino games. So RNG stands for random number generator, and these are those enhanced immersive slot machine type of games. They've completed their application for multiple new gaming licenses, so we're going to look at their current portfolio of licenses or countries that they're allowed to operate in, but looking to expand to really become a global player here. And then the final point, you guys, is they've really bolstered or strengthened their leadership team. This company has massive bench strength, and we're going to talk about that as we look at some of the high-level leaders a little bit later in the presentation. Now, if you go over to the Ascot Entertainment website, you're going to be redirected now to the FansUnite platform. So you can see here Ascot Entertainment is now considered to be a subsidiary of FansUnite, and that's exactly where we're going to head to get the investor presentation to talk about this acquisition and FansUnite business model in a little bit more detail here. Now, before we get into the investor presentation, I did want to talk quickly about Bill C-218 here in Canada. So this again came out June 24th, and Bill C-218, really what it does here, you guys, is legalize single event sports betting in Canada. So this will enable people to go out and make wagers on individual games or events. And this is really seen as a major milestone here in Canada. And very similar to the MJ industry here, you guys, I see this as the tip of the iceberg. Governments obviously recognize there's a big appetite or demand for sports betting, for online gaming. There's a ton of potential tax revenue from these type of activities. And we've really seen from the pandemic, with a lot of traditional casinos being closed, people are migrating over to online gaming and gambling. And I think governments around the world are really going to start to take notice of that and want to jump on the bandwagon in order to capture those tax dollars. And that's exactly what this quote really encapsulates here, you guys. Today marks a historic milestone in the global gambling industry, as Canada has taken a pivotal step forward in legalizing single event sports betting. The legalization of this bill will provide the Canadian economy access to additional employment opportunities, tax revenue, and a safe and regulated platform for betting options. So that's exactly what I was talking about there. Tax revenue is the key word. This is what the governments are really looking at and really motivating them to make some of these regulatory changes. So now let's get into the FansUnite platform. This is their investor deck from July 2021. So you can see the 2 ticker symbols here on the CSE, FANS, on the OTC, FUNFF. Now, in terms of what FansUnite are really identifying as their three main pillars right now, number one is massive market. So TAM, we talk about TAM a lot on this channel, total addressable market. The online gaming, sports betting, e-gaming, esports, this industry is absolutely massive, you guys. And I really think a lot of people are underestimating how big the growth is going to be. Kids these days are growing up with technology, with gaming, with iPads. We have a little boy ourselves. He's glued to the iPad already every time we're on a flight, when he's eating, whatever the case is. And as the world continues to push towards a digital first experience, I think a lot of these type of activities are going to become extremely mainstream. The second bullet here really talks about that major inflection point that FansUnite feels they're in the midst of. So FansUnite is on the verge of growth with multiple revenue streams now coming online, both business to business and business to consumer. And then they again call out that stat, $350 million of playthrough or total bet volume on their platforms with 300,000 plus registered members. And the final point here, they talk about those catalysts for growth. Some of that is related to regulatory, some of it is the industry itself. Our roadmap includes multiple catalysts which are expected to ignite our growth in the coming months and years. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in more detail right now. So in terms of how the company is set up or their organizational structure, FansUnite Entertainment really has three subsidiaries or three divisions. They've got the FansUnite platform, the Ascot Entertainment, which is that subsidiary, and then McBookie or mcbookie.com. Now within these three banners, there's a number of different subdivisions. So they've got their Chameleon gaming platform, which we're going to look at, the Ascot Games offering, VamosGG, Esports Bet, and Esports Pools as well. Now they break this out in their investor presentation by their B2B offerings and their business to consumer offerings. So we're going to do the same here. So on the business to business side, there's two different platforms, the Chameleon gaming platform and the Ascot's Games offering. Now under the Chameleon banner, what this is, you guys, is a white label solution for iGaming. So companies that are looking to get involved in the gaming industry can actually come to Chameleon and they can take advantage of this turnkey or out-of-the-box solution to set up their platform. Now they've got very robust analytics behind. You can see some of the screenshots here. It's API enabled, so application programming interface. And what that really allows you to do is plug in other applications to this platform without having to know how they're implemented or understand how the backend plugin actually works. So very user-friendly, and again, a flexible turnkey solution for any of their B2B clients. You can see the second point here, tailored reporting and real-time analytics. So very similar to what I use with the YouTube Studio platform. And they've also been recognized for this software in a number of different categories, including esports betting supplier, sportsbook platform provider, and full service platform providers category. Now on the other side of things, we've got the Ascot Games B2B solution. Ascot Games is Ascot's newest division, and they're really focused on creating or developing immersive and exclusive casino-style RNG games. Now, RNG stands for Random Number Generator. So these ultimately are games of chance, and they really have an esport or video game look and feel to them. And I think this is really what's going to appeal to a lot of the younger generations that are growing up playing these type of video games. Now, these RNG games are offered to all of the partners that use the Chameleon platform, and they're also licensing some of these games to external casino aggregators or platforms. And what that really does is open them up to hundreds of different online casinos and sports books. So it really gets their games out there and gets customers interfacing with these type of RNG games. So now that we've looked at the B2B offering, I wanted to switch gears and talk about the business to consumer offerings. So they've got four subsidiaries here, or four different divisions. They've got the McBookie, FansUnite, Esports Bets, Esports Pools. So these are both under the Esports banner. And then they've got the VamosGG. So for the purposes of this video and the time constraints, we're gonna look at the McBookie and the VamosGG offerings. If you're interested in investing in FansUnite, I would definitely do your own due diligence on them. Take a look at some of these other offerings. But again, based on time constraints here, you guys, I wanted to look at the two that really stand out in my mind. So the first up here is McBookie. Now they're a leading provider of betting services. They have a license to operate, which was granted by the UK Gaming Commission. And what they've really done is decide to focus on what they consider to be underserved markets. So in this case, it's the Scottish market and clientele, which makes sense given the name of this division. Now, McBookie has been in operation for over a decade, so it's not by any means a new company, but they're definitely building this platform out and trying to make it a little bit more competitive or current. So they've got 10,000 active members, $135 million in Canadian currency in terms of betting volume over the last 3 years. So a lot of traffic on the platform and actual money changing hands. They've got sports betting, casino, and virtual sports offerings. And in Q1 alone of 2021, they were actually able to generate $28 million Canadian worth of betting volume. So you can see that the amount of money being bet on McBookie.com is increasing quite nicely when you look at their overall run rate over the last 3 years compared to just the 3-month period in Q1. And that's really a direct reflection of a lot of the energy and attention FansUnite has been directing at this platform. So second on the B2C side of things is VamosGG. This is actually hosted on that Chameleon esports betting platform, and this offering is really focused on serving the Latin American market or niche. So this is a great example of how the Chameleon platform's flexibility can be used to launch targeted or focused sites that serve localized markets. Now, the Chameleon platform currently supports 10 different languages, and they're looking to actually onboard new languages to serve new markets as opportunities arise. And on the right here, you can see this platform is offered both on mobile and the traditional web browser, which again allows customers to interact on the go with the platform and place bets or play games wherever they happen to be. So now that we've talked about some of the recent developments, we've looked at the various different offerings, both business to business, business to consumer, that FansUnite has under their portfolio. I did want to take a quick look at the management team here, you guys, because they have an overwhelming amount of experience and a really impressive track record and connections that they bring to the table. So the CEO, Scott Burton, is a CPA or Chartered Professional Accountant by trade. He's got 20 years of operational hands-on experience in the esports betting industry. He co-founded a website called tedbets.com, which was actually voted the best peer-to-peer wagering platform in 2014. And he actually served as the CEO of Ascot Entertainment prior to the merger with FansUnite. So a lot of experience in the industry in general and a history or track record with this specific company. Now, Darius, who's the president and director, was recently named one of Canada's next 150 top entrepreneurs. So very well-known and respected member within this community. He's got experience in technology, media, and telecommunications. And then the CTO or Chief Technical Officer, Jeremy Hutchings, has over 25 years experience with leadership, systems architecture, software, product development, and process improvements. So this is really the brains behind the technical delivery of these various applications or platforms. Now, FansUnite also has a very impressive board of directors and a deep lineup of experience there as well. So again, if you're looking seriously at investing in this company, I would recommend you take a look there. A lot of connections and ties within the gaming and gambling industry that they can leverage to further propel the growth of FansUnite. Now, the final point I wanted to bring up before we wrap things up here, you guys, is just in regards to the licensing. So we saw in this initial intro, they specifically call out regulated and lawful online sports betting, esports, casino, and fantasy. And that's really been a point of contention in the gaming industry for quite some time. There's been a huge black market for this kind of stuff online. I know in the online poker and sports betting areas specifically, there's been a lot of websites popping up that have been under a ton of scrutiny. So FansUnite is very focused on ensuring that they've got all the proper licensing in place and they're playing by all the regulatory rules. Now, they've received both their business to consumer and B2B license from the Malta Gaming Authority. They've got the United Kingdom license, which we saw with the McBookie platform. In the United States, they've got access to the market through a partnership with GameCo LLC. And here in Canada, you can see positioned to take advantage of expected changes in Canadian gambling regulations, the first of which we just saw and talked about with Bill C-218 that just recently passed here. And holistically, you can see the appetite from governments around the world for online gaming and betting is really starting to shift, and it's becoming more and more common or acceptable as online gaming becomes mainstream. So to wrap things up here, you guys, I personally feel like FansUnite offers a unique way to get exposure to this online gaming, esports, and gambling industry. On a macro scale, it's a $150 billion plus industry around the world with a compound annual growth rate of 8% expected. So big potential, big total addressable market, a lot of activity and excitement within this space. FansUnite really feels like the industry and the company itself are at an inflection point with multiple different revenue streams up and running and more coming online in the near future. They've got significant business to consumer growth with some of those RNG licensing agreements. They've got the multi-gaming licenses, which we just talked about, and some of the regulatory changes. And then in addition to that, there's a number of major catalysts that FansUnite feel are on the immediate horizon. So additional licensing in the United Kingdom, expansion into the US, additional business-to-business partners, expected revenue growth, their full suite of RNG games, and then additional merger acquisition type of activity. So for those reasons, you guys, I definitely think this company is worth a closer look. As we saw on the initial slide there, the share price has pulled back quite considerably from that $2, $2.20 type of price point we saw just a few months ago. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines here, you've been looking for some exposure, perhaps you saw the big news around Score and Penn Gaming, and you've been looking for a Canadian-based company with exposure to this space, I definitely think you should take a closer look at FansUnite. Now, for full disclosure, I'm not currently invested in this company or Victory Square's technology, although both of them are on my watch list. As always, I will keep you guys posted if and when I do decide to pull the trigger on either one of these companies. Thanks so much for watching today, you guys. If you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value. So make sure you smash that like button to get this content to other people like yourself who might benefit. And feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think of this analysis. If you're currently holding shares of FansUnite or Victory Square Technology, and what you think about their growth prospects moving forward. Now, on a final note, you guys, in the video description below, there's a link to Questrade. Check it out. If you've been looking for an online platform here in Canada to trade stocks and options, I would highly recommend them. This is the platform that I use. If you click on the link, you'll get a $50 referral credit that can be used towards your initial trade commissions. So you get a handful of trades on the house. Very user-friendly platform. And again, the nice thing here, if you have any troubles or questions, I'm always available to help. That's it for today's video, you guys. Thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.